Not a particularly good week for Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. A judge has ordered Lindsey Graham to testify in the Georgia Trump fraud case. Now, the backstory on this is that in the state of Georgia, Trump demanded 11,780 votes. He called Brad Raffensperger and others in Georgia. And in the midst of this, Lindsey Graham also made a phone call. Lindsey Graham is a sort of, I guess in a sense, I would call him a fair weather Trump supporter. When things are going well for Trump, he supports Trump. But then on the night of January 6th, he said, it's over. It's time to move on. Okay. Lindsey Graham, was subpoenaed in the Georgia grand jury investigation of Trump's attempt to steal, let's call it what it is, to steal the Georgia electoral votes. Lindsey Graham, upon receiving the subpoena, said, I'm going to fight this subpoena. His lawyers used all sorts of different arguments, and a judge has said, no, you've got to show up. Let's take a look at this NBC News report. A judge ordered Senator Lindsey Graham to testify in front of a special grand jury in Georgia investigating former President Donald Trump's alleged attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney ordered that Graham will be required to testify August 2nd. The judge's certification filed Monday describes Graham as a necessary and material witness to the grand jury probe. The development was reported earlier by WSB TV. Graham's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The senator's attorney said last week he would not comply. The grand jury also subpoenaed members of Trump's former legal team, including personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani. Now, one of the arguments that Lindsey's lawyers made in this entire thing is that his actions in calling Georgia officials to ask what's going on, can we get the right count, whatever he was doing. The argument his lawyers made was that Lindsey's actions are protected under these constitutional safeguards for members of Congress not getting punished for their speech or actions performed in the course of their legislative duties. So to explain that in layman's terms, the lawyers for Lindsey said when Lindsey called to inquire about those election results, he was performing legislative duties as a senator of the United States. That probably sounds like BS to you, and it is. And both the DA and the judge said Graham isn't a Georgia resident, and Graham is not a Georgia politician, and U.S. senators don't have any legitimate congressional function in personally calling state election officials to argue about the results or to suggest that the results might be wrong. It doesn't make any sense. It's not an argument. As a senator, he has no role there. He has no standing. He's not a voter. So he can't use that argument. What he was doing was he was trying to trade on his name and influence by calling and saying, hey, this is Lindsey Graham. I'm a U.S. senator. I'm paying attention to what you're doing. Don't you think maybe you could review the results and maybe see if they weren't right? But there was no legitimate legislative function as a U.S. senator being served there. And fortunately, the judge agreed with that. You don't get to choose which laws you would like to follow. I mean, sometimes these people in power do, but you shouldn't get to anyway. And Lindsey Graham, at least for now, and we'll see if he appeals the decision, if it's subject to appeal or what he tries to do between now and August 2nd, in principle, he is supposed to show up and testify on August 2nd. I know that clearly his lawyers don't want him to. That's why they tried every possible argument to get him out of it. And if indeed he does testify, it should be absolutely fascinating. We will have the clips and more of the stories that we talked about in this segment on the David Pakman Show Instagram, which you can find at David Pakman Show. Also follow me on Instagram at david.pakman. The hate voicemail I posted yesterday, incredible reaction. I think close to 1,000 comments on it. Listen to it on my Instagram, david.pakman. Let me know what you make of it. If you're using traditional toilet paper and paper towels, you're probably cutting down trees from North American old growth forests. And I've talked about before, we don't want to be doing that. Also, they come wrapped in single-use plastic. That's also a mess. And the solution is Real Paper. This is a sponsor I feel great about. Real Paper makes paper towels and toilet paper from fast-growing bamboo, not from virgin tree fibers from forests. Using bamboo prevents soil erosion, it prevents habitat loss, and importantly, it's a major impact on carbon. Real paper also uses no plastic packaging. So we often talk about what can we do? Corporations need to do many things, but what can we do to help the environment? This is an easy thing. And I made the switch to real paper at home. I can't tell the difference. Everybody buys toilet paper. Everybody buys paper towels. This is one you can actually feel good about. And you can use the code PACMAN for 30% off your first shipment when you sign up for a subscription at realpaper.com/PACMAN. The link is down below.